Yo, 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 what up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So, this one right here is very important for you guys. So, I'm titling this, Don't Try to Make Your Woman Happy. Now, you're probably thinking, like, what? Like, why would I not want to make my woman happy? So, this is for all my guys who are in relationships, who have girlfriends, who have wives. Do not try to make your woman happy. And I'm gonna get a little bit deep into this so you can understand, where I'm coming from. And it's gonna make a whole lot of sense to you, when this podcast is done. Okay. This is the thing. Let's start from the beginning. Now, when your girl met you, or when your girl got to you, or you got to her, or whatever, there was something about you. There was something that you brought to the table that she was into, which made her want to continue to see you, and now you guys are where you're at, right? But what happens with a lot of guys, once they get into a relationship, what happens is that they start to see their women in certain situations where the girl is upset about something, she's pissed off, she's acting bitchy, and all you want to do as man is you just want her to shut the fuck up, right? So what you do is that you end up doing stuff or saying stuff or taking a certain course of action that you might not have wanted to do in the first place in order to get her to shut up. You just don't want her to, you just don't feel like getting in an argument, so you end up doing a certain thing, right? Now, usually what happens is that certain thing that you did, you were doing that to try to make her feel better, to try to get her to quiet down or calm down. But that thing that you did, in a lot of cases, might be something she's asking of you that you probably at one point or another said that you didn't want to do. So basically what's happening is, in order for you to try to make your girl happy, what you're doing is you're compromising who you are. Do you understand? I'm going to say that again. In order for you to try to make your girl happy, you are compromising who you are. Now, this is not the same thing as trying to compromise in a relationship. You understand? If you're in a relationship, you have discussions, you say, okay, I'm going to do this, and you're going to do that, and you understand what I'm saying? That's different. Well, what I mean by compromising who you are is that what happens is that you might say something like, hey, I really don't want to go to, Florida this weekend for this event because I just don't feel like it because of A, B, and C. Now, what happens is your girl's going to get pissed off. But I want to go. How come? What's wrong? I thought we this and that and blah, 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 yak, 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 yak. Right? Now, what you do is you've already stated that you don't want to do this. Right? You just really don't. You're just like, I don't fucking want to do this shit. Right? But then, because she's complaining and nagging and bitching about it, what you do is you say, all right, fine, let's go. We'll do it. Fuck it. Even though you still don't want to do it, you're just like, fuck it, let's do it, because you're tired of hearing her complain. And you're doing this to try to make her happy. You're trying to make her feel better about the situation, even though you don't want to do it. You understand? You're compromising who you are to try to make her happy. Now, the thing that sucks about this situation is that this is usually not a one-time thing. This is usually something that you're doing a number of different times that you don't realize that you're doing. So what happens is that you start to develop a pattern of you, saying one thing and then doing the next, or being about one thing and then being about another thing the next time, all in an effort to make a woman happy. Just to get her to shut up. Just to be like, all right, fine, we'll do this, we'll do that. After you already done said you're not about doing this and that and that. So what happens now is that she starts to see that you don't stick by what you say. You don't stick to your guns. So the ironic part about this whole thing is that, you know, you're doing all this to try to make her happy, to try to make her feel better. But what you're doing is that you're making the situation worse, because what happens is that, you know, in these situations, a lot of times when you're compromising who you are and switching up for her just to make her feel a certain way or feel better about the situation, she sort of loses respect for you because you didn't stick by what you said you're about. See, let me tell you something about women. They will bitch, complain, and moan about a whole bunch of shit. The minute you switch up on what the fuck you're doing, you lost. Because now she's looking at you a certain way, like, damn, all I got to do is this, and he gonna switch up, and then that makes her lose respect for you, and then, you know, ironically, she's not gonna be happy about this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in order, you tried to make her happy by just shutting up and or switching up to do this. But what happened is that by you doing that, you basically showed her that you're not really being the man that she really expects you to be. I know it all sounds kind of crazy, but this is how this shit goes. This is why a lot of times guys have issues in relationships, because they're in the efforts to try to make her happy and all this other shit, they are compromising who they are. And women like a man, or they like men who stick by what they're about. You understand? They look for that type of guy. They want a guy who is, has that strength to stick by what he's saying. Now, that doesn't mean that, you say one thing one day, and that doesn't mean that you might not change your mind. But it has to be genuinely you changing your mind because you wanted to do it, not necessarily because she wanted you to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. You might say, okay, yeah, let's go to Florida. We're going to do this. But it's coming from you actually wanting to do it, not because you're just trying to shut her up. And trust me, they can tell the difference, and you can tell the difference. You understand? So it's like they know. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I think I was watching this Chris Rock comedy special one time, and he was like, you guys got to go in the mirror and look at yourself and say, I think he said something like, say fuck you, what you want doesn't matter, now let's go make this bitch happy. And that's what a lot of dudes do. They're on that, fuck what I want. Let me just let this girl do what the fuck she want to do. I ain't going to say shit. I'm going to just let her ramble on. I'm going to just, yes, dear her to death. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the thing that happens. And this is why, you end up in those situations where your chick is not happy. You say to yourself, damn, I'm doing all this shit. I'm doing all this stuff she wants me to do. And she's still not happy. She's still, bitching and complaining. Why is that? The reason why is because she's not happy because of because of you switching up the shit. That's really the underlying thing. You understand? So, truthfully, the way to actually make your woman happy is to not try to make her happy by you switching up your shit. I was having a conversation with one of my friends, Eddie Fuse. He's also a dating coach. And, we were talking, and he basically said something that, and I've said this a couple of times too, and I was like, I totally agree with this, where he was saying that, what happens is that when you guys switch up, he was saying when you switch up like this, you're not the same guy that she fell for when she first started fucking with you. Do you understand? Because even if you was on some on some regular shit or whatever it was you was on, when you was first with her, you weren't doing that much shit to compromise for her, because it was just to get to know you stage, and we just hanging and kicking and chilling out or whatever. We're on the first date, second date, whatever. So there was something about you. You had that aura of this is who I am and this is what I'm about. Then you got with her, and then she started complaining and bitching and shit. And then you were just like, okay, so I'm just gonna switch up what I stand on and what I stand for, just so that I don't have to hear your mouth, or just so I could try to make you happy. You understand? So, what I want you guys to take away from this is, as a man, if you want to have a good relationship, if you want to have a woman who is happy, who's going to listen to you, who's going to, not give you all these problems and shit. First, it starts with you, first peep out what the type of chick you fucking with in the first place. Because some chicks are just, insane regardless. So they're going to give you shit, right? But if you pick a cool chick, you got to understand what you're about. And let her know that this is what you're about and this is what you stand for. This is what you're, going to do or not going to do. And you stick with that. She could kick and scream all she want, but it ain't shit changing. You understand? And again, this is different from compromising. You understand? So, don't try to make your woman happy by switching your shit up and doing all this extra shit. Do you understand? Again, the way to make her happy is to not try to make her happy. The way to make her happy is being who you are and bringing that to the relationship and not switching up every time just because you want to just like her to shut up or just for her to feel a certain way and doing all this extra shit knowing that's not what you're about. That's not what you want to do. You understand? So that is all I wanted to say, guys, for today. But, hope that helps you, man. Because, I see this every day where guys are just like, yo, what happened? I did all this shit. I was nice to her. I did everything she said, and it's just like, what's going on? And, and that's the reason why you're still having issues. You're trying to make her happy and, she's not happy. And that's the reason why is all this extra shit that you didn't really even need to do. You feel me? You understand? These chicks are going to respect you when you put your foot down and you say, this is how it's going to be. You understand? They will be happy with that. All right? No matter what these chicks say, some chicks are going to hear this audio and be bullshitting to you like, oh, Mr. Locario is bullshitting. But in the back of their head, they're like, God damn it. He's this is what it really is. All right? So that's it, guys. I'm out of here. And guys, remember, make sure you go to MrLocario.com or go to Mr. Locario TV and get my books, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men, How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day, and also go to MrLocario.com and become a member. You get 45 to 90-minute audios every month. Make sure you go get that ASAP. All right, I'm out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.